Okay, we'll discuss this pending area also. These are the pending area in this particular session: revenue versus capital, bills receivable versus bills payable, depreciation, mercantile accounting system, cash accounting system, fundamental accounting assumption. First and foremost, I would like to choose this bills receivable and bills payable. Bills receivable and bills payable. After completing this, I will move forward with depreciation concept. Then I will go to revenue and capital 4 and 5. In this order I am going to discuss with you. So, the first and foremost we must understand that, first and foremost we must understand that bills receivable slash payable. Okay. Then debtors with creditors, sales, purchase. You have to understand, put together, then only you can understand the concept. That is the reason I have chosen bills receivable, bills payable concept first. Friends, I hope you are aware about purchase and sales by this time. Purchase and sales by this time. When you are making a sale, there are two possibilities are there. You will receive cash immediately. That is called cash sales. You will receive cash immediately. Another is possible is credit sales. It means that you will receive cash later on. The same way, when there is a purchase, you will have a cash purchase. It means that you would have paid cash immediately. The other way, credit purchase. Other way is a credit purchase. Okay. So this is a thing which will happen. So cash sales means the relationship between the seller and buyer is over. Okay, nothing to be received. Here, to be received in future. To be received in future. Correct? This also to be paid in future. To be paid in future. So please kindly listen carefully. Cash sales, the transaction is over. Cash purchase, the transaction is over. Okay. Only when there is a credit sales and credit purchase, the transaction continues. Here the transaction got over. Here, in case of sales, you know very well, sundry debtors. Here you know sundry creditors. So in case of cash sales or cash purchase, there is no concept of sundry debtors or debtors. Sundry debtors means there are multiple debtors will be there, so we are calling as sundry debtors. Otherwise the name is debtors only. Creditors name is creditors only. Since it is a transaction which is happening with a multiple buyer and seller, we are calling as sundry creditors and sundry debtors. In case of cash sales or cash purchase, the transaction between the buyer and seller is over. Okay, I don't want to go and refer anything debtors, creditors, all the stuff. So now this sundry debtors means to be received. Here means to be paid. If is known person to me, say for example, I am selling a product to you. I know about you very well for the last 5 years. So I can give it on credit. Absolutely no problem. You are such a gentleman. You will make the money back to me. I don't have any issue. But I am selling to other person, is a third party with whom I have not dealt in the past period. He is a new person to me. I have doubt in my mind that whether he will give me the money properly or he won't give me the money properly. So that type of things are there in my mind. I have doubt about my receipt. So what I will ask him to do, you give me some document which gives me an evidence, or proof. Yes, you will give the money. That is a type of document is called bills receivable. Bills receivable. From this guy, the document that will be given by him is called bills payable. நல்லா பார்த்துக்கோ. Debtors will receive bills. Creditors will pay bills. It is like that I borrowed money from you for 1 lakh rupee. செக் போட்டு கொடுக்குறேன், ஃபியூச்சர் டேட் செக் போட்டு கொடுக்குறேன், இல்லை டேட் போடாமல் செக் கொடுக்குறேன். அப்போ உனக்கு ஒரு ப்ராமிசரி நோட். இதை தான் லாஸ்ட் சப்ஜெக்ட்ல என்னன்னு சொல்லணும்னா, த பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள் பில்ஸ் பேயபிள் இஸ் அ ப்ராமிசரி நோட். ஐ எம் கிவிங் அ ப்ராமிஸ் இன் ரைட்டிங். எஸ் ஐ வில் கிவ் த மணி. இது வந்து ஸ்டாம்ப் பேப்பர் இல்லை நம்ம ஊரில் சும்மா பேப்பரில் எழுதி வாங்குற மாதிரி கிடையாதுமா. இது தட் இஸ் அ ப்ராப்பர் டாக்குமெண்ட். இந்த டாக்குமெண்ட் எடுத்துகிட்டு போய் பேங்க்கில் கொடுத்து இமீடியட்டாக நான் கேஷ் வாங்க முடியும். இமீடியட்டாக கேஷ் வாங்கணும். தட் இஸ் அ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் கான்செப்ட் அபவுட் பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள் பில்ஸ் பேயபிள். தெர் இஸ் அ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் கான்செப்ட். I'll have it as a separate session with respect to bills receivable and bills payable after completing 2-3 concepts here. Otherwise, we may continue also. Okay, so creditors will give bills payable, debtors will receive bills receivable. I will tell you an example here. I will continue with this bills receivable example itself. Okay, so that you will be clear with this. Because foundation, there is a separate chapter in bills receivable. Yours Mr. A sold to Mr. B amounting to 1 lakh. Amounting to 1 lakh. A is seller, B is a buyer. Correct? Now, out of this, cash sales, credit sales. Cash sales and credit sales. Cash sale is rupees 30,000 rupee. So to the extent of 30,000 rupees, there is no relationship or no communication or conversation is going to be there in the future among A and B. Among A and B. Whereas with respect to the balance amount of 70,000 is become credit sales. It is become credit sales. So now we can understand from A books. Same ditto here. Instead of purchase, sales, it is become purchase. From B books. From A books and from B books. A and B. From A books of accounts, sundry debtors B 70,000. Here sundry creditors 70,000. I told you that credit sales means to be received. To be received means debtors. From whom I have to receive? From B only. So sundry debtors kolla B ingre name vandurum. Sundry creditors means to be paid. Sundry creditors means to be paid. அப்ப இவனுடைய புக்ஸ்ல இருக்கும்போது யாருக்கு கொடுக்கணும்? B பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூல இருந்து Aக்கு கொடுக்கணும். யாருக்கு கொடுக்கணும்? Aக்கு கொடுக்கணும் 70,000 rupee. Are you clear till this extent? Before I go forward, please confirm me. To be received in future, then it is become debtors. A ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டை பிக்கு சேல் பண்ணியிருக்கானா, யார் ரிசீவ் பண்ணணும்? A ரிசீவ் பண்ணணும். யார்கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கணும்? B கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கணும். அப்ப B is my debtors. Perfect? Yes or no? Next. B நோட பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூல இருந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பேமெண்ட் பண்ணணும். He has to pay the money. To whom he has to pay the money? A கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கியிருக்கான், Aக்கு பேமெண்ட் பண்ணணும். அப்ப அவனுடைய புக்ஸ் ஆஃப் அக்கவுண்ட்ஸ்ல கிரெடிட்டார்ஸ்ங்கிறது யாரு? Mr. A will be the creditors. That will be the 70,000 rupee. That will be the 70,000 rupee. Is it clear? Everybody? Okay. Now, for this 70,000, we will go further discussion. This 70,000 should be paid by Mr. B to A. From the point of Mr. A, he needs to receive the money. From the point of B, he has to pay the money. Receive the money from B, pay the money to A. Receive from B, pay to Mr. A. Perfect. He has to receive, he has to pay. In the 70,000, if I know each other, I will leave it okay. After 3 months of time, let him give the money. But if I don't know about this guy, or for various other reason also, I will ask Mr. B to give a promissory note. Promissory note. That promissory note is nothing but bills receivable and bills payable. One of the promissory note is become bills receivable and bills payable. Bills payable. Is it okay with you? Now, இந்த 70,000 காசு தரத்துக்கு பதிலா யாரு தரணும்? நல்லா பாருங்க, receive from B. அமௌண்ட் கையில தரணும், அவங்ககிட்ட அமௌண்ட் இல்லை. In the place where he is supposed to pay the money, he will be writing some document and he will be giving a document to you. That document which you are receiving from Mr. B is become bills receivable. The document which is given by Mr. A is become bills payable. Bills payable. So, after you receive the bills, original பாருங்க, total sales, again மறுபடியும் கொண்டு வரேன், 1 lakh. யாருக்கு? B கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கணும். B கிட்ட இருந்து கேஷ் எவ்வளவு கலெக்ட் பண்ணீங்க? 30,000. டெட்டாஸ் எவ்வளவு இருந்தாங்க? 70,000. இதுதான் இது வரைக்கும் இருந்தது. இப்போ இந்த டெட்டாஸ் இருந்து யூ ஹேவ் கலெக்டட் தி பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிளா, அதுக்காக ஒரு டாக்குமெண்ட் கொடுத்துட்டோம்னா, அப்ப டெட்டாஸ்ங்கிற நேம் போயிட்டு பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள்ங்கிற பேரு வரும். பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள்ங்கிற பேரு வரும். மறுபடியும் சொல்றேன், ஓகே, மறுபடியும் லாஸ்டா சொல்றேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இந்த சேல்ஸை போடும்போது டு பி ரிசீவ்டு டோட்டல் 1 lakh அந்ததா மைனஸ் கேஷ் 30,000 வந்ததா, பேலன்ஸ் 70,000 இருந்தது, மைனஸ் பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள் 70,000 போக இப்போ மிஸ்டர் பீனுடைய பேர் நில்லுனா வந்துடும். அந்த இடத்துல பில்ஸ் ரிசீவபிள் 70,000 ஆயிரம். ஒரு டாக்குமெண்ட் கையில் கிடைச்சிரும். கையில் காசாக வரும்போது கேஷ் இருக்குது, இந்த இடத்துல பிங்கிற பேர் வெளியில் போயிட்டு அவங்ககிட்ட இருந்து அந்த டாக்குமெண்ட்டை கையில் வச்சுக்குவேன். அதே மாதிரி இஃப் யூ கோ அண்ட் see in this place from each point, total to be paid 1 lakh. ஓகே, மைனஸ் கேஷில் பேமெண்ட் பண்ணது 30,000, 70,000, paid by bills payable 70,000 nil. ஓகே, நவ் சார் அப்படின்னா இதுக்கு மேலே பிஏ வரவே மாட்டானா, ஏவும் பிஏ அவ்வளோதானான்னு கேட்காதீங்க. ஒரு டியூ டேட் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க, 3 மாதத்துக்கு அப்புறம் தரேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, அந்த 3 monthsக்கு அப்புறம் இவர் கேஷ் தருவார், அந்த கேஷை வாங்கி வச்சுக்கணும். இதுதான் introduction to bills receivable and bills payable. Again, I have not discussed this bills receivable, bills payable concept detailedly. That is a separate section we will have it for the detailed discussion. Bills receivable, bills payable, then this BRS, இது ரெண்டுக்கும் ஒரு detailed discussion we will have it later. I hope you understood this concept. கரெக்டாப்பா, ரொம்ப டீட்டெயிலாக சொல்லியிருக்கேன்ப்பா, உனக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஓகேவா? ஓகே, நவ் I will move forward with depreciation concept. Depreciation concept. I am not going to teach you different method of depreciation, etc. Just I am going to teach you what is meant by depreciation. First and foremost, it is one of expenditure. சரி, எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ்னால் என்னன்னு தெரியாதுங்கறியா? அடுத்தது you must understand that this is non-cash expenses. Non-cash expenses means is nothing but there is no outflow of cash. There is no outflow of cash. இந்த எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சருக்காக கேஷ் வெளியில் போயிருக்காது. இதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டீங்களா? இதெல்லாம் புக்கில் கொடுத்துருக்கிறது. Depreciation is an expenditure. It is a non-cash item. To claim depreciation, there won't be any outflow. Okay, there won't be any outflow of cash, etc. would have been given in the books. Now you understand. ஒரு கார் வாங்குறீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், காரோ பைக்கோ, something you buying it. Say for example on 1/4/16 you purchase the bike with the cost of 1 lakh rupee. You went to the showroom, you paid 1 lakh rupee, you have purchased the bike. Now you are into 31/3/2020. For this 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 years are over. How many years are over? 4 years. Yeah, you purchase the bike on 1/4/2016 for 1 lakh. 4 years is over. So after the 4 years gets over, the bike value will be remain same 1 lakh, or the value of the bike will be reduced below 1 lakh. Say for example 40,000 rupees market value. When you purchase the new bike, the value is 1 lakh rupee. You have used that bike for 4 years of time. After you use that bike for 4 years of time, the bike value will be remain 1 lakh, or in the market that would have been reduced from 1 lakh to 40,000 rupee. The answer is this will be perfect, this will be wrong. So originally when I purchased that assets, that was a 1 lakh. After 4 years of time, that have been reduced from 1 lakh to 40,000 rupee. Whatever reduction is happened, that 60,000, they were for 15,000 per year. 15,000 per year is nothing but depreciation. Is nothing but depreciation. The value of the asset is getting reduced because of usage of the assets or passage of the time is called depreciation. Sir, usage of the assets you have explained to us. Yes, since I used that vehicle for 4 years of time, the value of the vehicle have been reduced from 1 lakh to 40,000. So you say that 60,000 is depreciation because you have used that assets for 4 years of time. So per year depreciation which comes to 15,000 rupee. I do agree, sir. Second word which you told me, that depreciation comes because of usage or passage of time. Passage of time, let me keep it as time. Say for example, the same example, you have purchased the bike on 1/4/2016. For the next 4 years, you have not at all used that bike. பைக்கை வாங்கி அப்படியே வச்சுருக்கீங்க, வீட்டில் நிறுத்தி வச்சுருக்கீங்க, உள்ளே நிறுத்திட்டு பூஜை போட்டிருக்கோம். We have not at all took that bike outside and driven a bike at any point of time. அப்படியே வச்சுருக்கோம் அந்த பைக்கை. Okay, we were not used anywhere. Now tell me, the value of the bike will be same 1 lakh or it would have been reduced in the market? 100%. Even though you are not used their bike, the value would have been reduced. That is called passage of time. So depreciation comes because of usage or passage of time. அப்போ அந்த ஒரு 5 இயர்ஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் அதை மாற்றி ஆகணும். ஓகேங்களா? உங்களுக்கு மார்க்கெட்டில் வேல்யூ கம்மியாகுது, யூஸ் பண்ணியிருந்தீங்கன்னா டேமேஜ் ஆகிருக்கு, யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் டெக்னாலஜி போயிடுச்சு. ஃபோன் வாங்கினீங்க, ஒரு 7 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி ஃபோன் வாங்கினீங்க, அந்த ஃபோன் அப்படியே வச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்க. கேன் யூ யூஸ் இட் நவ்? நோ, பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த டெக்னாலஜி யூ ஆர் ஃபோர்ஸ்ட் டு சேஞ்ச் இட். Now everything is online classes, online meeting, online news, everything is become online. YouTube also has become very famous now. You can't use that. Correct appa? So considering all that, this depreciation concepts are there. Okay, அப்போ யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுனால இல்லை டைம் போகிறனால நமக்கு ஒரு லாஸ் ஆகுது, அதுதான் டெப்ரிசியேஷன். இதுக்காக காசு செலவு பண்ணுறோமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா கிடையாது. இந்த 15,000 வந்து நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு வருஷமும் புக் பண்ணுவோம். இதுக்காக ஆர் வி பேயிங் எனி மணி? நோ. தட் இஸ் த ரீசன் வி கால்ட் அஸ் திஸ் அன் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர், பட் இட் இஸ் நான் கேஷ் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர். I hope I covered depreciation, but I am not completely discussed. Just I am giving introduction to depreciation. When you are coming to the final, foundation level, you will be learning about this depreciation concept very thoroughly. Now, I'll move forward with revenue versus capital, then mercantile accounting system, then fundamental accounting policies. As I have written over there, revenue versus capital. Many times this concept is required. Many times we will be using this concept. Revenue nature, capital nature. It is applicable to income as well as expenses. Okay. If you are going to receive the benefit from the income or expenses, நல்லா நோட் பண்ணுங்க, you are going to receive the benefit from the income, that is called receipt, or expenses, that is called payment. Receive the benefit from the income or expenses for more than one period is called capital nature. Else it is revenue nature. I am giving in the simple term. I am not discussing very theoretical way. I am just taking all this session in the practical way, so that you can be connected with the session and it will be easy for you. Revenue versus capital we are discussing, that is applicable to income as well as expenses. That is nothing but receipt and payment. Receive the benefit from the income or receipt. Okay, income or receipt. Receipt என்னங்கிறது காசு உள்ள வர்றது, சரிங்களா? Expenses or payment, ஒரு எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சருக்காக தான் கொடுப்பேன், அது பேமெண்ட்னு சொல்கிறோம். For more than one period, then it is called capital nature, else revenue nature. Example, machinery, electrical equipment, furniture, AC, computer. All these are called capital nature. Okay, you incurred an expenditure, but it is a capital nature because you receive the benefit from this asset is more than one period. Grocery, or if I go with a business example, salary, purchase, sales, rent, telephone expenditure, printing, all these are revenue expenditure, because the benefit which comes from the assets, from these expenses is short term, that is 1 year only. Okay, but the benefit which comes from the first category is more than 1 year. So this is a capital nature, this is a revenue nature. Is it clear with everybody? A simple introduction I have given to you. So after this, I would like to take you into, there are two different type of accounting is there. One is called cash accounting, another is called accrual or mercantile accounting. In account subject we will be going with this mercantile accounting or accrual accounting? Mercantile accounting or accrual accounting? Sir, what is the difference between these two? Friends, you must understand this thoroughly because it's very, very important for your career. We will be going with mercantile accounting only in our account subject. Cash accounting is nothing but we are using into personal life. Of course, this is allowed in accounts but not complete way. This is like we are going to follow in accounts. Layman language la solra. We are not supposed to consider exactly. Listen. I'll tell you what is the difference between these two. Telephone expenses. We are using a telephone. Monthly bill வந்து ஃபஸ்ட்டில் இருந்து 30th வரைக்கும் பில் வரும் ஆர் 31st வரைக்கும் பில் வரும். திஸ் இஸ் கால்ட் பில் டேட். பேமெண்ட் என்ன பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னா இது டெலிஃபோன் பில்லுக்கு எடுத்துக்கலாம். இல்லை சிம்பிளி யூ கேன் கீப் இட் அஸ் பில். தட் மே பி டெலிஃபோன் ஆர் எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி பில், வாட் எவர் மே பி telephone or electricity or internet or whatever the bill. Payment is happening 10th of next month. I will give you one period also. 1st January 22, 31/1/20. Bill value is 3000. Actual payment 10/2/20. 10/2/20. I hope we are clear with an example. I hope nobody will be having doubt with an example. Now we have two different method of accounting, correct? Enna method accounting? Cash based accounting, mercantile based accounting. Cash based accounting or in our personal life, even your parents are maintaining the various expenses and incomes in their notes. ஒரு ஸ்மால் நோட் வச்சுட்டு சேலரி வாங்கினது எவ்வளோ, ரெண்ட் கொடுத்து எவ்வளோ, தென் ஹவுஸ் கீப்பிங் கொடுத்து எவ்வளோ, தென் கிராசரி வாங்கினது எவ்வளோ, இந்த மாதிரி எழுதி வச்சுட்டு இருந்தாங்கனாலும் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது கேஷ் பேசிஸ் அக்கௌண்டிங் அப்படின்னா இன்னொன்று மெர்கண்டைல். கேஷ் பேசிஸ் அக்கௌண்டிங்னா இந்த எக்ஸ்பென்சஸை தே வில் புக் இட், book as an expenses on, that is on the date of actual payment, on the date of actual payment, on the date of actual payment. Mercantile accounting means they will be booking it as an expenditure as on 31/3/20. That is the period in which the expenses are incurred. Irrespective of actual payment. Irrespective of actual payment. I hope this example would have given clear picture. Cash basis accounting means அந்த எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் அந்த அதனுடைய இப்போ டெலிஃபோன் பில்லோ இல்லை எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி பில்லோ இல்லை இன்டர்நெட் பில்லோ யூஸ் பண்ணுறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோ, எனக்கு ஜனவரியில் 1ஆம் தேதியிலேருந்து 31ஆம் தேதி வரைக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ணதுக்கான பில் வந்திருக்கு. அப்போ அந்த எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் ஆர் ரிலேட்டட் டு ஜனவரி மந்த். தட் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர்ஸ் ஆர் ரிலேட்டட் டு January month, but actually I make the payment on 10th February 20. If a cash basis accounting means I will treat that as an expenditure on the date of payment, that is on 10/2/20. Suppose if I follow mercantile accounting system or accrual accounting system, I will not wait till the date of payment. That expenditures are related to January month. So I will be booking that as an expenditure in January month itself, irrespective of the payment. Either you are making a payment on 10th February or 10th March or 10th April, irrespective of the date of payment, I have to book that as an expenditure in the period in which it is related. Puridapa? Everybody, are you clear? So, final summary, if it is cash basis accounting means I will be booking that as an expenditure in the period in which it is related, on the date of payment. Data payment. If mercantile system means I will be booking that as an expenditure in the period in which it is related. So, we successfully completed this part also. So, now fundamental accounting assumptions are there. That either I can discuss here or otherwise I will discuss as a part of financial statement, because I don't want to discuss here separately. Even though I written here fundamental accounting assumption and accounting policies, I will have a separate discussion, okay, in the next session. So you please go ahead and quickly revise this thoroughly before going to watch next session. Okay, thank you. We will watch next section soon.